recording, just send a chat to myself privately. So you just search for Tori Takel, send it to me, and then we'll compile all those emails and send you a copy of the recording once we're done. Other than that, I think we're kind of just hanging tight right now. So just y'all can start shooting me y'all's email addresses. Try to send it to just me privately, not the entire group in that chat function, guys.
Se conoce.
Hey, shit. Coach, do me a favor. Do me a favor. Check your email for Coach from Lakeview Centennial.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Coach Drayton, do y'all have animals?
No, that is my daughter's. I will get them under control here.
No, that's not why I asked that.
Okay.
Get down. I'm fostering a dog, so I was just wondering if y'all had animals. So I got a dog on Friday.
No, I do have a dog.
There you go. Look at you.
You're trying, Corey.
Yes.
Okay, guys, we're going to get started here shortly. As a reminder, if you want a copy of the recording, I don't know why I use my hands so much, sorry. Shoot me a private message on the chat, Tori Takel, with your email address. If you don't send me your email, I don't know where to send it. So we'll record this and then we'll shoot it to you guys. But other than that, you guys will be muted for the duration of the clinic. If you have questions and all that, you can type them in the chat, but I would wait till the end to see if we've got time there to do that. But just a reminder, send me your email, please, privately, so we can get these out to you guys. Thanks.
I'm going to give these guys the full allotted time to get prepared for this meeting. I still got guys trying to kick in. So in about 3 minutes, we will start promptly. 3 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Just want to say, hope all is well out there, and many blessings to all of you. I know these are crazy times out here, and I'll tell you what it does. It makes you put things in perspective of what's really important. And I hope you guys have taken full advantage of that. And I really do commend you all for finding some time to continue to get better at the game we all love and have a strong passion for in football. So I have a lot to cover. Again, as Tori said, we'll handle all questions toward the back end of this meeting. But I have a lot to cover. I've been doing some research, as I always do during this time of the year. I want to try to find out what the trend is out there for running back play. If you all have noticed that there has been a really shift in the skill set and the development of our position at running back over the last 4 years. There's a lot of multiplicity within offensive schemes and tempo, really forcing defensive personnel to change, and it's changing the game. And the one thing I can say about the running back position is really forced that position to become very multi-purpose, purposeful in the scheme of things. So as we go through this presentation, what we're going to be talking about, as you can see, the title of it is called Anticipation, the Art of Executing Fundamentals and Technique When It Counts, and when it counts is in the game. And the reason why we're going to talk about this is I know there's a lot of conversations when you get these clinic talks. I mean, a lot of it's about drills and, things of that sort. And I'm here to tell you that, there's many ways to skin a cat, right? At the end of the day, we got to turn the film on and our boys better be playing, and playing well. And in the day and age where the skill set is being enhanced for the running back position, we have to do a lot, and we have to do a lot well, and we have to do it at the split second, all right, when it counts in the game. So fundamentals, drills, things of that sort, I will have that available to you. This is not what this is about. I am going to show some drills to you just to give you guys an idea of what we're working on before this virus hit us. But what this is really all about is, taking the time that we put into creating great fundamentals and great technique within our players. And, the thing that's disheartening for us as coaches is when the whistle blows and you turn the film on and all the work that you put into the fundamentals and drills, they just disappear. You don't see them show up in the game. And there's reasons for that, and so that's what we're going to talk about. And anticipation is the thing that we're going to be focused on. So as we get moving on here, as I told you, I've been doing some research and I've been studying the trend, and I always start in the NFL and work my way down through college. And the reason why I do that every year is because, I'm in a position here at the University of Texas where I'm recruiting the top, the best in the country. Yeah, and I hope to be in a conversation with the best every year. And with that being said, when you're talking to the best, hey, they're talking about the NFL in 3 to 4 years, okay? So I don't want to be that coach that wants a player so bad that I'm going to, formulate some bullcrap story about, how I'm going to get this kid to the league, and I have the system fit to get this kid into the league. If it's not true, I'm not in that conversation, but I do want to bring to the individual as I talk to them. So I do this research every year, and basically I have a 2-year study past 4 Super Bowl teams, okay? And what I'm looking at is I'm looking at their run-pass ratio, okay? And I'm looking at why and how they won and how that affects the running back position, all right? And so New England Patriots back in 2019 were the Super Bowl champions. As you look at their run-pass ratio, they're pretty balanced. That's the one thing about New England. They're balanced. And as you look at them closely, they were more productive than their opponent in both the run and the pass game, all right, when you do the comparative status. And the one thing that was very dominating was the time of possession, all right? So we sit back as running back coaches, and, yeah, obviously we want our players to have the ball in their hands and things of that sort. But when you are part of a balanced offense like the New England Patriots is, That is a cause for multiplicity of skill set for that back. That means he's doing more than just carrying the ball and keeping that team on schedule. Okay, we'll dive deeper into that. The Los Angeles Rams, who was the runner-up that year, as you look at their deal, all right, had an unbelievable season, but the ratio run to pass is very lopsided, heavy pass. And you sit there, okay, can a team win just throwing the football, right? And again, you go back to the recruiting conversation that we had is, these running backs, all they want to hear is, I want to go to the NFL and I want to see how many times you're going to give me the football, right? Well, here's the Los Angeles Rams with Gurley sitting in their roster, and they ran the ball with him 40% of the time, okay, and threw the ball 60% of the time. And consistently, when you do the comparative analysis, they were more productive in the pass game, and that's the obvious. So they had a niche, and that was their pass game. They were very explosive. So what you don't see is the hitting yards that took place in the pass game for them, and Gurley played a huge part of that in his presence, okay? He played a very unselfish role on that team that a lot of running backs don't want to hear. Then you go to this year's Super Bowl teams, the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. As you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, Super Bowl champions, run-pass ratio, very similar to the Los Angeles Rams, right? And then you look at their comparative analysis breakdown. Again, they were consistently more productive than their opponent, again, in the pass game. All right, and they were Super Bowl champions, and there was a running back in the backfield every time they snapped the football, okay? San Francisco 49ers, more balanced, a lot like the New England Patriots, okay? And very much like the New England Patriots last year, they were more productive than their opponent in both the run-pass game and time of possession, okay? So what does this tell us right now? All this tells us right now that the multiplicity of offensive systems and philosophies are requiring for an all-purpose skill set at running back, okay? All right, so as we go through this, the multifaceted running back is the guy with the third down skill set, the guy that has the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield, protect the quarterback, run, be physical. These are the guys nowadays, okay? That's who they are. And as you look at that top left corner right there, I actually cut that guy with the Chicago Bears. And, this year he had a breakout year. I promise you, he's 190 pounds dripping wet. So it's not like we're used to back in the days of, getting a huge running back with the one-dimensional skill set of just being able to run through people. And, it has to be more than that nowadays. And that's what we need to be able to sell our players. And that's how we need to develop these running backs moving forward. All right. So what is all-purpose production? As we look at that, we're looking at high productivity, all right, in the run game, all right? And basically that is a running back that can, yes, when it's time for him to be behind his pass, he's got to be a guy that can keep a team on schedule. And when we talk in terms of being on schedule, we're talking 4 to 5 yards on first down. And if you're going to get the ball on second down, you got to be able to get half of whatever the distance is, all right? And if you get the ball on third down, you got to be able to convert. You got to have that skill set. Blocking in the pass game, obviously pass pro and run blocking nowadays, with the quarterback run game, even the NFL coaches have figured out with Kansas City Chiefs that, that they can equate numbers in their run game and even get advantageous numbers in the run game by running their quarterback in critical situations. So, that is something that the running back has to be prepared for. I remember back in the day, if you were to tell me that I was going to be a lead blocker, that I probably would have moved to strong safety. Okay. Nowadays you got to develop your running back to be able to do that. Okay. And obviously in the pass game, they got to be valuable receivers, which in that picture that we showed you, I mean, all of these guys, all of them, all 5 of them are their team's either second or third leading receiver. Okay. So just understand that part of it. And then special teams is the bonus. Obviously, at our level, it is a must. All right. When the roster kind of narrows down at the next level, those running backs normally show up as returners. All right. But at the collegiate level and at the high school level, we need them to do it all. Okay. That being said, we're going to go ahead and dive into the run game. And you just give me 1 second. Let me get my screen shift over here. Okay. Guys look good. All right. All right. Okay, so what we're gonna start off with here, okay? 1 second. All right, so getting back into our conversation about anticipation, okay? Right, and like I said, I was gonna start off showing you a couple of drills of things that I've been working on, so I am going to do that, but again, guys, the whole purpose of this deal here, okay, before I get into this, is to make sure that, yeah, we're gonna talk in terms of some drills. I'm gonna give you some coaching points. I'm gonna tell you what we're working on, but I promise you, all right, if we don't teach our kids to be better thinkers out there, teach them how to anticipate by teaching them defense, okay, and I think that is the primary starting point for running back development, is to teach them defense. They need to understand gap exchange, gap fist, all that stuff. The moment they understand that, the game slows down, and then fundamentals and technique will show up. So I'm starting off showing you guys fundamentals and technique because we're getting ready to talk about the inside zone play. All right. And so I'm just showing you a drill and giving you guys an example of what's going on right now. Okay. This is Keontae Ingram from East Texas. All right. He is actually working his footwork of an inside zone play. Okay? He's somewhere right around the backside hip of the center. All right. Which is in this area right there. Okay. I am teaching him to chase this right now, and I'm giving him a presence of that gap being closed. All right. So all we're working on right now is a jump cut. Okay, this summer, all right, all of these guys, after my evaluation of them this past season, we all needed to really work on our hips, okay, our hips, all right? I have tall backs, okay? I got 2 guys right there that are 6 foot, all right? They're very long lever guys, long legs, and what I started to see is in the tight spaces when it was time for them to make the sudden cuts, all right, to be productive and themselves prepared for contact, they were struggling to do that, and it's all an issue with their hip. So Coach Yancey's got them on a plan right now to loosen their hips up. I put them in drills where they've got to make decisions in tight spaces, all right, to really force the hips down in that position right there, okay? Anytime you're trying to get your back to change directions, if you look at anything regarding physics or anything like that, the center of gravity must lower, all right? All right, just like you look at race cars coming off a starting line, you know, the body drops before it goes forward. And that's what you got to teach your backs in this moment. So again, just showing you a drill, take it with you. All right, you've seen me do this before. This little deal right here is to make sure that when they're going through the line of scrimmage, that they're keeping their pad level low. So it's really a reminder because they can really go under that thing with no problem. So it's a reminder to get low. It's also a reminder to burst through the line of scrimmage. I put a can right here, all right, to give them a linebacker fix so they can have another short space reaction to where their hips are low to get back in a vertical mindset. Okay, and so now all I'm showing him right now, me here, the out of shape guy, all right, showing him that the front side A gap is closed, but I am a backside linebacker in this deal right now, and he is getting a fit off of this. I'm coming down on a simulated double team. He is feeling that, all right? Depending on how I fit that can, all right, he's going to crease it this way, obviously, or crease it that way if I, but with this again, he doesn't know where I'm coming from, all right? He has to anticipate and get his hips down low, and in that position, accelerating through very suddenly. All right, Roshan, right now, you can see there's still a little bit of hesitation in his gait right there, all right, because his hips are actually going up as he's trying to change direction. So he's losing a lot of explosion laterally right now. We got to work on that. Everything has to go down. Explosion is down. You can see the difference here. Down, down, burst. There it is. Good quickness right there. All right. So again, this is just a drill that I'm showing you that's going to carry over into what we're really talking about here. All right. So I want to see my guys making jump cuts like this in the game. Okay. Another thing that we're going to eventually start talking about. Okay. I thought we need to become more violent. All right. In pass pro. Okay. So what Roshan has there is a sandbag. Okay. That is a sandbag that weighs probably about, I'll say anywhere from 8 to 10 pounds. Okay. And it is mushy. There's nothing solid about it. So what it does is when you grab it, their hands automatically come in tight. Automatically come in tight. All right. So by design, all right, that's what we want. Okay. The way I teach the pass pro, guys, just briefly, I teach it from the contact point first. I start at the fit. Okay. I start at the fit. And when we talk in terms of starting at the fit, we're talking in terms of tight hands with our thumbs up, okay? And we're trying to put the heels of our hands right at the bottom of the rib cage, bottom of where the pads end of our defender. That's what we're trying to do, okay? Our elbows cannot be out. Our elbows have to be in tight, okay? And the one thing I love about that mushy sandbag right there, it does have some weight to it, okay? It's very awkward, but it does force their elbows and hands tight. Okay, the next phase, as you look at Roshan right now, obviously I'm only 5'9" right here, and this guy's about 6'1", 6'2". Okay, I want their hairline to be on the chin of the defender. All right, and because I'm a short guy, that's where my hand is representing right now. My hand is the chin of the defender that he is trying to strike right now. Okay, and all I want right here, all right, I have these bags sitting in between their legs to make sure that we're maintaining a good base, all right? And as we work through this little gauntlet, if you will, all right, I make strike and bring their feet with them, keeping their leverage underneath them, okay? All right, so we're trying to work a power position. He ends up getting into this power position here. You need to understand when you teach your guys how to strike, they are striking with timing and distance. All right, the one thing they don't want to do is strike too far away. All right, as you look at this angle right here in his arms, they're almost straight. And when you get an angle like that in your arms, because you're contacting a little bit too far away from your point, okay, you have a tendency to get overextended, which means that any finesse move that comes off of that, he's not going to be able to survive it, because when you get overextended, the hips come up. Okay, so again, this is all about hips for my guys. Hips in the run game, hips in the pass game, striking with timing and proper distance. Okay? And again, just always keeping your feet moving. This is a slow shuffle through to make sure they get the feel of when they do strike, how their hips really do need to be them. All right, you can see right here, here's another bad example of our guy getting overextended. Let's see if I can get you guys a better example here. See, right now he's in a great position. All right. For the strike, he's still in a really good position. You see his hips stay down. All his power angles are in place for him to not only strike this defender, but not only that, when the defender goes to make a move one way or the other, his hips are down to be able to play basketball with him. This is exactly what you want right here, guys. As he works through the bag, you see his hips stay on one level. Stay on one level. He does not get overextended. He's striking with good timing. Keontae has a little bit more of that kind of a angle going right now. He's a little bit too far underneath the defender right there, all right? And he doesn't really realize that right now. He's really inviting himself to get his ass ran flat over right now with a bull rush, okay? All right, but he is working decent angles with his hips. His hips are down. They stay on one level across the bags. Good movement with the feet, okay? As you can see, there's a little bit of a stagger with the post foot, okay? That post foot forward is always to the quarterback side. Okay, quarterback side. All right. Now stop it there. And now we'll go ahead and get into the bulk of what we're really talking about here. All right, so those are just a couple of things. I mean, I'm sure everybody does those drills. All right, but they absolutely mean nothing, coaches. Okay, they absolutely mean nothing if we can't get them carried over into a game situation. And the only way, in my opinion, that happens if we challenge our kids to be smarter football players, okay? And it starts off by teaching them defense, okay? All right, now as we get into this presentation, all right, again, write your questions down. I'm available after this deal to answer any questions you may have. But I'm always going to start off with structure of defense for my guys, okay? And they need to know that there's only really 3 types of front that they're going to see. There's only 3 fronts they're going to see. They're going to see some type of a 4-down structure, a 3-down structure, and some type of a bear structure. Outside of that, you know, will be the variations of those 3. All right, so we want to simplify their thought process and make sure they know, all right, because everything about a running back is their vision, right? Don't intimidate them about all these different fronts that's supposed to be existing out there. There's only 3. There's only 3, okay? Now, there's variations to those 3, but as far as you know, there's only 3. And how do you identify those deals? All right, when you're going against a 4-down structure, the front's very easily to be identified simply by just looking from guard to guard, from guard to guard. And we teach our guys that, from guard to guard, all right? If the center and one guard is covered, or if the center is uncovered and both guards are covered, then you are running the football or protecting the quarterback against a 4-down front, all right? We'll call that even in this presentation, okay? And now, with that being said, as we're running the football, we have an inside zone mindset, all right? The backs need to understand that there's certain things that happen in an over front or an under front, okay? Whether you're running to the 3 technique or to the shade side, okay? All right, one thing I'm gonna talk to you about is this side right here, okay? That is a 3 technique. And I don't want to talk to you guys like you're elementary or anything like that, but that for a running back, he needs to understand that that is a 3 technique. That is a leverage side defense. What that means is that the side of this defense is designed not to let the ball go outside. By design, that defense on that side of the ball is designed not to let the football go outside. Okay, so if we're running zone that way, and they know that this is leverage side defense, okay, they can automatically start to anticipate that this is going to be some type of a cutback unless something happens that breaks that rule. And there's always going to be at least one rule breaker on this deal. Okay, but if you teach them that's leverage defense and they can figure that part of it out, running inside zone, there's a good 90% chance that that ball's not going to go front side of that deal. You just help that psyche of that running back out a lot, okay? Now, let's talk in terms of going the other way. Let's say we're running zone this way, and you're running over here to the shade, okay, to the shade. Now, the one thing about the shade defense is that this defense, if that linebacker were to do that, it cannot stop the ball from going out the front door. It just can't. All right, there is a bubble right there. All right, that being said, all right, we run inside zone, you can give your back a little nugget right there and say, hey, if you are running this thing to the right side of the defense, understand that you do have a chance to take this ball out the front door, okay? So keeping that understanding in mind, they need to understand how defenses are built, how they're built, okay? It's no matter what. So, and the reason why I bring this up is I hear a lot of coaches that are out there coaching inside zone. All right, and let's say we're running inside zone right now to the right in this picture here, all right, and I hear them saying that the first down lineman, that's fine, all right, but just be careful what you're telling them, because in this particular structure of defense right here, to read this 3 technique, and I'm running zone, and that 3 technique, that gap, and what you just told that back is to take that B gap, right? All right, that would be the natural thing for me to do, all right, in that situation. And all they need to know is that, hey, in gap exchange defense, hey, just understand leverage defense, that's a false look for you right there. All right, that is truly a false key. All right. So I teach my backs that. I teach them that anytime that we're running to the black side, all right, and I call that side the black side, the leverage side. I give them a little term, black side, that ball is probably 90% of the time not going to go, all right? Not going to go out the front, okay? Also, stopping here is also a great opportunity to teach these guys what zone blocking really is, right? What zone blocking, and give them the real principles of zone, all right? I'm sure there's very few people who are not running zone, all right? And it's okay to tell a back that, you know, there's levels to defenses, right? All right. There's a first level, and then there's a second level. And then obviously there's a third level with the safeties that you don't see in the picture here. Okay. All right. When teaching zone, start at the first level. If we are running zone to the right, all right, the offensive lineman's rule is this, that there is a first level defender on the play side gap of our zone play. He is going to block him by himself. Okay. What does that mean, coach? So if we're running zone to, and this right tackle here, all right, has a defender in the play side gap right now, he's going to block him by himself. That's called a base block. Same thing with this guard. 3 technique. In the play side gap, the player is running to the right. There's somebody at the first level in the play side gap. He is going to be base block. All right. What a running back needs to know, all right, when running zone plays, is where are his double teams coming from? All right. And I love to hear coaches when they talk a lot of they're double team. And I say that too. I really do. All right. But what's funny about that in our communication sometimes, guys, is that the running backs don't know where the double teams are coming from sometimes until they're on the back of the damn double team. Okay. All right. It's time for them to know where the double team is coming from before the ball is snapped. Okay. And they can very easily do that by just understanding what zone rules are. Again, an offensive lineman who has a first level defender in the play side gap of a zone play is going to base block him by himself. Base. All right. The first time we see an offensive lineman with no first level defender play side, he is going to be a part of the double team. All right. Now they know where the double team is. Now you're talking about giving a guy something that he can anticipate, okay? And if you have him reading the first level linebackers like I do oftentimes enough, okay, they see this double team coming right now, and all of a sudden they know where it's coming from, and this guy plays that gap, and they know right now the wall's being built, they can make that cut, all right, with confidence knowing that they're making the right read. All right? Now just be careful. Now, the moment you start getting these guys good at anticipating plays like this, anticipating where the double teams are coming from before the ball's even snapped, they're going to start making their reads a lot sooner. All right. Then you got to teach them patience, but get them to anticipate first. We teach them gap exchange and how gap exchange can happen. All right. So if we're running zone this way, I tell them that there's an opportunity that because of leverage defense, right, and on film, they see our backs jump cutting backside because of leverage defense, okay? Well, let's give some defense some credit that there can be some kind of a gap exchange for your cutback, all right? And so now the anticipation of this is going to happen a lot to the backside of a black side defense, leverage side defense, right? That's going to happen a lot, all right? They know you're getting ready to cut this thing back, all right? As you work off your double team right there, all right, how is the fit for the tackle going to be on that will linebackers, a second anticipation, okay? So I'll go in terms of teaching them first read being play side linebacker, second read being the backside linebacker. The moment you get a front side read by the back play side linebacker, progression read to the backside linebacker, and then you can anticipate him either fitting his gap here or gap exchanging to fit your cutback. Again, giving him a nugget before the play actually takes place, all right? Now, what are the things that can happen when running to the shade or a G, okay? There's some things that we can anticipate on that, right? First of all, let's figure out where our double teams coming from. We got to find out where our double teams are coming from so we can do the simple math, right? Okay. Play side gap cover, he's going to block him, base. All right, there's a bubble right there. Okay, boom. So there's our double team getting ready to take place right there with the play side guard. All right, he knows that. The ID is the mic. He's blocking to the mic. Okay, so we can anticipate that. As we take our steps and we're running off that double team, we get our first read off the mic. If the mic plays to the play side of that double team, we're coming right off the center's butt. Okay, coming right off the center's butt. All right, there is a bubble backside, which means our second double team is happening here to our second read. If our first read tells us to go front side, all right, second double team, Takes us to our backside read. If he plays to the play side of that, then that cutback's happening in the backside B gap or C gap, whatever you want to call that. Okay, so the anticipation of that is unbelievable. Boom, backseat. Uh-oh. I just lost control of my mouse. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so all of a sudden, tailback sees that fit, okay? He knows where that fit is taking place because he knows where the double teams are coming from to make it. It's one thing to be said if, yeah, you get your first read, right? And all of a sudden you just feel this guy, but you have no idea where your double team is coming from. Well, all of a sudden you see that fit and you feel your guard coming off of that deal. You may try to split that guard and that tackle's block, not understanding that, hey, that double team, this guy may be watching the 3-tech. It may have to be a gap wider. That is why anticipation is important. And these become your drills. And then as you're running zone to the shade, all right, the gap exchange to the backside of that deal, all right, being able to anticipate that. If you're running a cutback play, you always want to show them and giving them, one or two deals that can happen on the backside of their cutback. And again, you drill that, and that becomes something that they can anticipate. All right. So we talked about the zone blocking. All right. Here's a little bit of a template. I know some guys are, taking some screenshots of this kind of stuff. This is good to do. Take pictures of this stuff. All right. This is the stuff that I give my guys to help them learn offensive line play and inside zone play. They've got to be at some point, they've got to be able to tell me what the offensive line is doing. And these are the only looks, all right, that they're going to pretty much get, all right, when they're running zone blocking to the front side of any even front, 4-down defense. This is it. You're going to get either a center play side guard, all right, when you have a shade or a G, or if you're running to the black side, you're going to get a base, which means your double team is coming from the backside guard in the center. They know this. They can draw up every run play. Okay, running to the black side of this deal, I'm sorry, just understanding what's happening on the back side. All right, when your shade is to the back side, all right, your double team is coming from the back side. Okay, which means that, hey, I tell my guys on inside zone to aim at the backside hip of the center. All right, well, hey, if the double team is happening with the backside guard in the center, then I better really tempo and change my footwork or just slow it down a little bit, because really, I'm really working off of the backside guard, not the center. All right. And again, that only happens when they understand and can anticipate where the double teams are coming from. All right. So general read progression. All right. I am really trying to encourage coaches to get their running backs' eyes up from the first level to the second level. All right. And again, it's going to carry over and make a whole lot more sense as you develop their all-purpose mindset. You got to have their eyes up so where they can see second and third level adjustments that are happening pre-snap and post-snap. And if their eyes are at the first level in the run game, then it's going to be a nice long developmental process to get their eyes up in time. So I think the time is now if you can help it. Okay. So general philosophy, read progression in our zone run game. The offensive line has a main objective of displacing down linemen vertically off the double teams, okay, to the second level defenders. We normally align toes at 6, and we split the outside leg of the center, the outside leg of the guard in our alignment, all right? Our aiming point would be the backside hip of the center. We're chasing that hip, all right? So if he's involved in a double team, we are actually moving with that double team, all right? And we're reading play side linebacker to backside linebacker. That is our progression. All right, that is our progression. Okay, so we're going to get into, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get into the film. All right. So let's see if you guys can kind of take yourselves through it, right, as if you're the running back, okay? All right, so we're running inside zone to the right here in this picture, okay? All right. So my running back right now should be finding his double teams as we go through our deal right now. We should be finding our double teams. He should know that, hey, we got a base, and he should know the double teams happening right here, right there, okay? Now, his first read is here, play side linebacker. Second read is the backside linebacker, okay? All right. So again, we're talking about anticipation. You can see there was a slight little bit of a hesitation off the snap right here. That is not a mistake on his part. Okay, I wish I can engage with you right here. I would ask my running backs why. Why is he doing that? All right. Our landmark says to chase this hip right here of the center. Okay, but he understands where his double team is coming from. Base. These two are working. They're double teamed to him, and because now he really knows that he's really chasing the backside hip of the guard, even though his landmark tells him it's the backside hip of the center. This double team is what he's responsible for developing and setting up. So he took his time with tempo, all right? Patience. When you talk in terms of patience are making decisions like that in the backfield. Just controlling the first step. That is a great patience decision by a true freshman right here. Understanding where his double teams are coming from. All right, now, boom, understanding gap fit defense. They fit and build a wall, place up. All right, he is going to continue on his landmark, but his eyes are now, all right, on the backside linebacker. But he knows he has to get things set up, so he's going to chase and take up as much space as he can before making that decision off of that block. Okay? Now, here's the thing, boys, right? So, you know, we talked in terms of fundamentals and all that stuff, and I'm telling you this, if his eyes are too quick to this backer here, you're going to see impatient footwork back there. You're going to see poor fundamentals. You're going to see all that. All right, this guy's doing a good job. Roshan's doing a great job of keeping himself under control. He can't get to this leverage of that block right now. He's got a seam that he's got to take, okay? And I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a secret here, all right? All right, when you guys are training your guys in tight spaces like this, okay? All right? It is their job to still get vertical yards. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who's there. You don't care. Those are hidden yards. They got to go get them, all right? Create the mindset your running backs are getting +2 on contact every time they touch the football. Create that, all right? Develop your depth chart on that. You know, create competition in your room like that. This guy, my running back, you have got to get 2 yards post-contact. That's an attitude. There ain't no coaching to that. That's an attitude. You bring that to the table. All right, here we go. Another good look at it right here. Base, double team. All right. Now, the beauty of this is this, okay? All right, we're second level reading this. There's a lot of information right here. There's a lot of information that we're getting right here. And this guy's giving us a lot of information. Again, we're talking about anticipation, right? Being able to anticipate, okay? Anticipate. We already know what this side of defense is designed to do, right? We already know that, okay? These guys get really good back here and they see this guy cheat to the field like this. That's information that something could, that something could, I don't know why. That something could be coming from the field. All right. Rotation this way, safety cheated to something could be happening, which can change the front and the read and movement and all that stuff. What does that do for us? We don't panic. It don't matter. We just want to know that if something's going to be funky and not what we're used to, all right, we got all kinds of indicators telling us to anticipate movement, all right? Anticipate it, right? I tell you what, I know for this guy in 2 years, what that's going to tell him is that, yes, him doing this is telling him that you're definitely going to this read right now. But coach, you said it's 1 to 2. I know, all right? But we got third level indicators and he's ready. He's not ready yet, but by the time he's a junior or senior, he'll see this and he'll know that this guy's got to fit to that side. Who else is over here? Teach him how to anticipate certain looks, right? Here's one that I think is an easy look. There's nobody over here, boys, but it's leverage defense. You're running off of this guy, and because this guy's working here, there's a good chance you may go to the backside of that. Understand that guy's your free hitter. Beautiful. All right, here we go. All right, he's running to the 3 technique right here, right? Here it is, 3 technique. We're running zone this way. There's a 3 technique. Okay, look what the 3 technique does. Boom. Uh-oh. Okay, now. I just told him, right, in his mind, he's thinking, okay, that's his bull crap. I know I'm going somewhere back through here, correct? All right, now, there is one exception. I told you there's always one exception to running to the black side. There's always one exception to the rule, right? Always one exception. I told you that's leverage defense, okay? The moment they lose leverage is if that guy wants to backdoor all the way to the backside A gap, or they want to do some type of a, one of these 3 cats go to the backside A gap. Now the play with that single block and that single block has a chance to go to the front side. And that is the only time. All right? So you just gave your backs that one exception. And now you can drill that one exception. That one exception. So when it happens, it's a hit. It's not a surprise. You don't see this running back on film right now surprised that I'm running to the black side and all of a sudden, hey, guys, I'm going out the front door. What? Coach told me no. No, coach gave you one exception, and because we drilled the mess out of it, there's no hesitation in this movement. All right, now we're getting the hidden yards, right? Our body's ready to get hidden yards. We've got momentum going. There's, we got full speed. We got our bodies square. We're the hammer now. All right, all that stuff carries over because we're anticipating. Okay. All right, here we go. Same thing. I'm going to kind of speed through this. All right, we talked about running black side. All right, we're running to the shade. Do have a read on that? Our double team is coming from. All right, running to the white side. Okay, we talked about running leverage side defense to the black side. All right, now we're running to the white side of the defense is how I talk, just to give them a little bit of a trigger. Okay, so it's white, white, white. So when they see white, they know that they're going to have one base block, and then boom, the double team's happening with the play side guard in the center. They know that that's happening when they're running to the white side of defense. They know that. So now they get a faster feel read off of that double team every single time. Every single time. Watch that on film. All right. All right, so we're just kind of scattering the formation. TCU was really multiple defensively and very good defensively. We felt that we can kind of do some things to kind of not allow them to get their heels screwed in the ground. So we scattered the formation. And you can see my running back right here, he is looking at the front. He's like, okay, I know we're about to scatter this thing. What am I getting ready to run against? Look at him. His eyes never leave the front. Boom, now he's oriented. Okay? And now, and again, when you train your back's eyes, all right, I often hear people say, scan the field both ways. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. And they do know that they do have their first read, play side linebacker, and I don't want them showing their eyes on that stuff, right? But they got to identify the front. So you can see Keontae right now looking right here. He knows that the 3 technique, the leverage side, is on the back side. So he knows what's happening front side without giving it away with his eyes, okay? Now there's some information that's happening pre-snap. He's anticipating this because he already knows. Boom, that's my double team. That's a base block, all right? So I'm setting my first read up off of that right there. He already knows, right? And I'll tell you what, if that son of a gun wants to play and stay right there, then Keontae already has it in his mind to suck him up and hit it, right? All right, now he does play and he's kind of peekabooing. They're peekabooing, all right? And when that happens, guys, it's going to require you guys to continue on the chase, all right? This tailback is doing a terrible job here, all right? Here's an example of when they do anticipate, all right, when they do anticipate, he sees that, he got a fast read, he took his eyes immediately to him, too fast before he even got the ball, and he feels that guy doing that. When they understand that stuff, they start anticipating, all right, they can become impatient very fast. Don't panic. That is a good problem to fix. You can fix it, I promise you, all right? All you have to do is get the emphasis back on their landmark. Get back on your landmark, all right? You have to set free up on that block by getting back on your landmark. So this is really a bad run, all right? And you can see, here's an example of poor fundamentals and technique because of bad anticipation. All right, that's the example of the whole meeting that we're having right now. All right. Pretty good run, though. I'm not going to take that away from this kid. All right, so again, we're running to the shade. Running to the shade. Great picture. Okay, now, yes, right? All right, he's just sitting there licking his chops, right? Okay, now these guys start playing around. They start playing around, all right? All we're talking about right now, guys, for our young guys, is teaching them where the double team is and how that guy is going to affect that double team. That's all we're talking about right now, right? All right, I'm trying to get to right now with Keontae, Roshan, and those guys is I'm trying to get them to anticipate not only where the double team is happening, but also how the safety ties in to that read, okay? How the safety ties into that read. Look at that look right there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Now we snapped the ball right here now, right? I got a safety working this way, all right? Talking about for the veteran guys, when they get good at this, your guys are going to be able to do this. And all of a sudden they anticipate that double team guy gets caught and the wall gets built right here. Again, that safety going like this ball is out the front door for a major hit. A major hit. And they can see that happening right in their stands. There it is. Home run. And again, you know, this should be a home run. When you can anticipate a run like this, you can anticipate a run like this, okay? These should be explosive plays at the very least. And that's what we're talking about. When you, fundamentals and technique come with anticipation, all right? And you become more explosive the more you're able to anticipate. Just telling you. It's all correlated. All right, he's got to use his free hand right here to get those hidden yards. All right, here we go, running white side. All right, so very different defenses, two very different fits by the linebackers in these last three clips that we saw. We saw the peekaboo linebackers by TCU, right? We saw Rice come downhill with the backside linebacker, right? You know, Baylor right now, you know, they're trying to peel you off your double teams right now, okay? All right, and all that will have an effect on first step, tempo to double teams, right? We know what's happening. We already got that part figured out. There's our first read. That double team right here has got him, okay? If he's that thing hard right now, again, that cutback as they peel those guys off needs to happen quicker, right? And now we're talking about that drill that I started this whole meeting off with right now, right? Here's a drill. That is it, okay? I don't know if you guys remember this, right? But we had the one bag here. We had that bag here. I'm just going to draw it so you guys can see how it was. That was there, right? And I had a garbage can right there. That was the drill. Okay, you're about to see it happening right now. Back anticipating that drill. So now that drill makes sense. Otherwise, it don't, unless you can see it in the game. Bop, bop. There you go. Back in the crease. That's it. Now use your free hand, boy. Hey, the stiff arm is not played out, coaches, too. Teach these guys how to stiff arm these defenders, man. You know, defensive coaches are getting really good at getting these defenders on running backs' legs, all right? Stiff arm's a great defender of that. Keep them off their legs. Use the stiff arm. All right, now, we know that there's gonna be movement and there's things where, All right, we may lose double teams, okay? There needs to be an anticipation there, right? All right, so how do you bring this to our players? Well, you give them a little bit of a tendency or say, hey, you know, the team we're playing this week, they have a tendency to bring this particular blitz to try to stop the run. All right, don't give them more than 2 things. All right, let the natural instinct handle everything else. All right, but get the 2 most prominent run-stopping blitzes to drill your players against your best run every week, and you just drill the crap out of it, okay, so they can anticipate it. We knew that for inside zone that Virginia loved the cross-A blitz, right? All right, and our backs knew that that was always happening when there was a little bit of a 2-eye, all right, to the backside of the play, okay? So we're anticipating this guy to loop out. So in a sense, there's 2 black sides to this look, this fit, okay? All right, but again, with these guys being off levels and cross-A blitz, there are no double teams. All right, so now the thought process of the back, how to anticipate when I'm losing my double teams, all right? Well, we knew that when these guys got off levels, one guy's kind of tighter to the line of scrimmage, all right? And then one guy was kind of further back. We knew that that was a threat of cross A. That was an indicator. We knew that guy gave us an indicator for cross A. We knew that it always came from a 1-high. These are all indicators. Pick 1 or 2, whatever this guy can handle. But he needs to know that he's not about to have double teams on this look. He's now running off a single blocks. It's a totally different feel. Totally different feel. He's got to be more patient. He's got to be more patient because the linemen, they're not working vertical up the field. They have a little bit of a timing step to gather. Everything is more lateral when there's movement and there's no double teams. A totally different feel for that back, all right? And the feel is usually, as we still go to chase the backside hip, that at some point, something's gonna cross our face because it is lateral. That is why you need to be patient to be able to hit the vertical seams. Or if things continue to move, that seam. But obviously, Roshan right here needs to continue to trust what he sees. All right. Obviously, with this fit here and a 1-high safety, all right, he can anticipate that this guy is squeezing inside with that pressure. Okay. But he doesn't need to jump out the gym right now. He needs to go ahead and take that crease and get 1-on-1 with the safety right now. Too late. Poor anticipation. All right. Poor technique, poor fundamentals on that jump cut. Okay. Still getting positive yards. All right. All right, now 2 white sides right now. Okay. All right. What can we anticipate right here? All right. Well, you know, there's no safeties. My guys are looking for that stuff now. You know, it's fun coaching them. They see a low safety right here. This is going to be a pressure look for them. So they know right now there's no double teams. They know that. All right. And they know that they're about to get that old lateral feel that they sometimes don't like. But if they're just patient, all right, it requires them to be patient. The anticipation is, hey, blitz means don't panic. All right. Blitz means be patient. Get on the hip. Get on the hip. Get on the hip. And your gap, a good 90% of the time, is going to happen right here or here. There it is. Boom. Great anticipation here. He's coming off that cut. He really sucked this linebacker up really good with great tempo. He knows that, blast from the pass, old Beck here's got to go ahead and get an ear hole shot on this guy, and he's coming nice and tight off those heels. You don't get a fit that smooth and that tight and that flush unless you're anticipating this to happen like this. Boom. Now you're ready for contact. It's fun stuff. Okay. I'm going to move on because time is kind of getting on us a little bit here. There's a couple things I want to cover with you guys. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get into some past stuff with you guys, but it's the same thing with running zone versus 3 down. All right. Just to give you guys a little bit of an indication. I will show one clip. All right. Anytime we do run versus 3 down structures, all right, that is the one time that I do want them to have a feel for the nose, but their eyes are not there, guys, okay? Their eyes are not there, all right? We know we're gonna have a gut in the A block, all right? They know the double team's happening with the backside guard, all right? Much like it does when they're running to the white side of a defense, okay? So they're merely just filling the nose when they're running to a zero nose. The read still stays the same, play side backer to backside backer, off the backside guard, center combination block, all right? So the tempo must be slower so the anticipation is there, okay? This play, just like the white side, when you're going to the Okie, all right? If this linebacker plays to the backside A gap of that double team, then yes, we have an opportunity to take this thing out the front door, all right? So that is a white side anticipation on the Okie fronts. Now, I don't have a lot of time. I want to give you guys a little bit of some protection nuggets here. I apologize for this. Got a lot of clips. Here we go. All right, pass game. And again, guys, I mean, not to rush you through that stuff. I had a bunch of clips, way too many clips. But feel free to ask me anything, give me a call, whatever it may be in regards. So I just want to get into some blocking in the pass game. All right. Again, and I'm going to take my time and I will go over, and that's okay. But protection is the thing that's keeping backs either on the field or off the field as they progress from high school to college to the NFL. It is the number one thing that, as you saw those stats, man, those NFL guys are going to throw the football first, okay? And they're going to be multiple with their philosophy, so they don't want to have to rotate a whole bunch of personnel and all that other good stuff. And they really bought into tempo in that league, and it's trickled really upward from college and high school into the pros, and now it's a tempo league, all right? So they don't want a whole lot of substitutions and all that stuff taking place. So that running back, if you want to make it, I mean, they've got to be ready to handle that stuff in the throw game as well. So we could simplify it for them, all right? Again, there's many ways to skin a cat, and we're talking drop back protection here. But when you really think of it, there really isn't. Either you're going to man it, or you're going to zone it or slide it, or whatever terms you want to use, or you're going to have a combination of the two, okay? And the running back needs to understand that, okay? They just need to understand that part of it. So what side is that running back on? What is his responsibility? What is his responsibility to the slide side? Usually a running back's responsibility to a slide side, whether the slide is working away from him or to him, he's got the end man on that line of scrimmage. Any rifle, pressure that comes outside there, he's got him. To the man side of any drop back protection, it's a lot different, all right? Because you don't necessarily have O-line help, okay? You don't have O-line help. You got base blocks, you got single blocks. So anything that comes to that side of the protection by way of a linebacker blitz, safety blitz, corner blitz, that's the running backs, okay? And most teams do have their running back to the man side of the protection. All right. So we'll get into that a little bit. So slide side. The one thing we want them to know is if we are a half man, a half slide protection. Okay. Again, they need to know what front that we're working against versus an even front. All right. We're traditionally going to have 3 people involved in the slide, and just think about that. Why is it 3 people involved in the slide? Just think about the man side, all right, being to a black side. You got a guard and a tackle that are busy at work with their 3 technique and their 5 technique, all right, and the center will start to slide to the white side, okay, and that's a 3-man slide. You only have 3 to a 4-man structure. Obviously, to a 3-man structure, you have the ability to get 4-man to a slide side. All right, but versus 4 down, there's a 3-man slide, and the running back needs to know that, okay? As you look at some base rules, what I did was I just took a You know, obviously I'm not going to put my, you know, Texas protection out there on the street, you know, but I did put a base protection, and, you know, we do run a variation of something like this. And, but this is, you know, something that the running back needs to know, and it all has to do with him anticipating the side of the protection that he's working on and how many people are working in the slide. All right, so he's working man side here. All right. Usually you will get an ID to a backside linebacker by center to the slide side. That is the will linebacker as you see it. And you see the 3 people who are involved in getting those 3 people to that side. All right. On the man side of the protection, you got a base block by the right guard and right tackle, which means that if that Mike and that Sam linebacker were to blitz to the man side, he can only be accounted for by the tailback. And anybody else, that strong safety or that field corner, which is, you know, highly unlikely, but anybody else that comes outside of those 2 guys being blocked by the guard and the tackle belongs to the running back. And because we only have 3 guys sliding to the will linebacker, that there's anybody that comes to the backside of that ID, then that running back's going to be responsible for it in this particular protection. Okay. All right. So it's all about him understanding his responsibility in a man side, understanding that, hey, you know, my guys are accounted for with their men. You know, anybody that comes to that man side is mine. Anybody that comes outside of a 3-man slide, the 4th defender, becomes mine in his scan in this particular protection. Tori, you trying to cut me off? Oh, okay, good. All right. So again, it goes back in the throw game about teaching them, you know, cover structure as well, because the cover structure has a lot to do with the blitz pattern. Okay. And so we want them to recognize when there's a middle of the field open. And obviously when we line up in spread sets and people want to line up with 2 safeties out here, all right, it really forces those linebackers. Okay, guys, I'll give you an example. If I, sorry about that. Let me just give you another look here. I put 2 receivers out here. I don't know why it keeps leaving me like that. 2 receivers. I mean, these linebackers, all right, with a back in the backfield, there's got to be at least 1 linebacker with a 2 safety look and another linebacker out here and another linebacker out here, giving us a 5-man box and a 4-man structure. That's another way for us to anticipate something, right? Okay. I mean, if they're stacking those linebackers, all right, those guys can become blitz threats. I mean, there's all kind of indicators by teaching them just where the safeties are located. 1 middle field safety means that it brings another linebacker in the box, which means it could bring another blitz threat to the box. Okay, no deep, obviously is an indicator for pressure. All right? Indicator for pressure. These are all tools to help the back anticipate pressure in protection. All right, safety and linebacker alignment. These are critical. Okay, these are critical. That box right there is the center. Basically, I have 2 wide receivers to the field in these pictures here. All right, this is what our running backs are looking for. Okay, they're protecting to the man side, and you know that is one of their guys that they're responsible for. If there is a stack, all right, always talk in terms of vertical releases. Can that Sam come? If that guy were to go vertical, can the safety take him? The answer is yes. Obviously, you got a corner there. So, yes, that stack look is a true threat for pressure. Anticipate that. All right. Obviously, with this strong safety already aligned for a vertical threat of number 2, that is a threat for Sam pressure. Okay. Not so much a vertical threat. Okay. Yes, he could take number 2, but that blitz is probably going to have a tough time getting through a vertical stem. All right, so this look here is not as much as a threat for pressure as these other 2 looks. Now, not to say that they can't do that, right? Post snap and then bring them. They can do that. All right, but again, you just want to give the back something to eliminate, all right, in this thought process. All right. All right, now into the boundary. Let's say you're working to a single receiver side. All right. Anytime you have a safety off the hash, and let's say the ball's on the hash right here, all right? With a corner press, there's a threat for corner pressure. Obviously, this picture here is more of a threat for corner pressure because he is further removed from the hash to, again, be able to account for a vertical stem by boundary 1, okay? If this guy will give a vertical stem, he blitz, vertical stem, he's a lot further away to cover that. We can take a whole shot all right, and keep the ball moving there. So that is a less likely threat. But again, we always talk in terms of post-snap rotation, the athleticism with some of these safeties, they can get there, kind of try to bluff you and still bring that corner. Not so much a threat of a corner pressure here, but it may be a threat of a free safety pressure there. All right, obviously, all right, if there was another receiver here, all right, my running back can cancel that guy out as being a threat. Single width, he's kind of there in no man's lane, that is your threat. These are all things. These are all the things that running backs can anticipate before the ball is even snapped. Okay? All right. I know I went through this a little fast in regards to scheme, okay? But just think in terms of right now we are looking at 3-man slide away from the back. 3-man slide away from the back. Okay, so the back's on, okay? There we go. We have a 3-man slide. You can see the ID is here. They're gonna count for those 3. Bob, Bob, that there is the tailbacks. Uh-oh. All right, now, again, this whole conversation is about anticipation, correct? Anticipation, bringing fundamentals, great fundamentals and technique to the game where it counts, right? I've already showed you the drill. I promise you I'm trying to drill this guy the right way, right? All right, but because he is not anticipating, what is he not anticipating? He sees this guy out here. He sees him out there in no man's land. He is a threat. His eyes are looking. He sees that, all right? But what he doesn't understand right now is gap exchange defense. He doesn't understand gap exchange defense. If this guy's going to blitz right now, where is he going to go? All right. If he understood that guy up the field, this guy gives you any type of blitz demeanor. All right. For him to go up the field and contain the rush, your fit's going to be inside. That is poor anticipation on my part. Look at the end result of this play. I promise you guys, I told him to do it the right way. I did. We drilled the shit out of it too. A couple linebackers in practice, what he brought to the table because of terrible anticipation. All right. I know there's a little bit of a funky look, but we still have our 3-man slide. They got him all the way over there, right? Bob, Bob. That's ours. That's ours. All right, now. Fool me once, right? Shame on me. Or shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me, right? There it is. Much better anticipation. Look at the end result. Now we can shock. There's a little sandbag. All right, he's a little high. All right. He's able to recover. He's got his feet underneath him. He's got a good base. He's working his hands inside, elbows tight. That's the shit I drilled, right? That's the stuff that we drilled at the very beginning of this meeting because he anticipated it that time. Another bad one, boys, okay? 3-man slide away from the back. That's ours. Now the cross A, right? The old cross A right now, right? He's still working man side, all right? He is getting a clean reaction of this guy being a threat. Any reaction that is happening to the line of scrimmage or even laterally, he has to honor that as a threat, all right? Doesn't have to honor a backer is when he's dropping flat out in the coverage right at the snap of the football. Then he can get his eyes into his route or to his second read or whatever it may be. But you get a reaction like this, his eyes need to stay there. Terrible anticipation, guys. This is about to be ugly. Yeah. Oh. All right, I think I better stop that before my blood pressure goes up. Whew, okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end it there. I went probably 10 minutes over. Tori, how do I go about answering questions?
Guys, if y'all want to put anything in the chat for Coach Drayton, I can read them out real quick. And if there's nothing, we shall end it. Let me give him a couple seconds, Coach Drayton. We don't have anything right now.
We're doing this by way of chat?
Yep, it's going in the chat. Yes, sir. If anyone has anything.
All right. Show y'all my age now.
How far should the running back press line on PP? I don't know what the hell PP is. Personal protection. I made that up. What is PP?
Yeah. I think you want your back to meet the blitz threat at the line of scrimmage. And here's the reason why. Okay. And you can't do it unless you can anticipate. You use those indicators that we talked about, right? You look for the stacks, you look for all that stuff. You anticipate, you teach them the protection. All right. You want to meet them at the line of scrimmage. Here's why. Because if they miss, all right, or if they just lose leverage or whatever, guess they got two fat boys right next to them in the A gaps. You right? They just kind of ricochet, and now they can find their way and just kind of jumble things up, man. All right, if you get levels now, all right, it's a one-on-one situation. They're outmatched. There's pressure on the quarterback, okay? But you want to get them into the line of scrimmage as deep as you possibly can.
What are the 3 types of fronts? Again, they said the video cut out at that part.
Yeah, you got an even front, four down front, 3 down front, and some type of a 5-man front. Those 3 fronts. And then in the 5-man front, we didn't even get into, because what's going to happen on 5, where's a double team happening on a 5-man front? Right? In a zone play, what we're talking about, in the zone play. Now, you can create double teams in gap scheme. We didn't even talk about gap scheme. Gap scheme is a totally different animal. But you still want them to understand, and I'm going to give you this nugget too, all right? The double team on a gap scheme, on power or anything like that, all right? I still have my back read second level defenders, okay? All right, but it's based on how they're fitting that play. So if we see a defense, when we pull that backside guard and they have that linebacker, you know how you see some guys linebacker with the puller, all right? Then if that guy's a puller, then guess who you want the running back's eyes to be on? The back linebacker. That's going to open up that A gap for you because he's trying to run over that double team coming to him, okay? All right? Now, if you sit there and you see on film and you see that he has no reaction to the double team, to the puller at all, that means that, all right, he's still going to get, there's still a chance that he can still slide. But just understand that means that the play side linebacker is responsible for plugging that gap, okay? So you want to keep that eyes A gap to the hip of the puller. In that case, is going to be a front side play.
When it comes to cutting, do you have your running back make their cut at the line of scrimmage?
When it comes to cutting, I have no, because, okay, here's the deal. So if they're going to have their eyes, you want their eyes on their target. Have them cut through the man, not necessarily don't make them stop their thought process at the line of scrimmage. Have them stop their thought process when the man's on the ground. Don't give them any field landmarks. No, you're going to cut through that man. Just teach them the rules of what's a legal cut and not. You know what I mean? For us, we can't cut past 5 yards downfield. And we have to be in a cylinder of, 10-2. All right? But when we're in that cylinder 10-2, all right, you are running your feet through contact. That's the only way it's going to get done. And as a matter of fact, the way you drill that, you make sure that your running back is accelerating through contact. When contact is made, you see acceleration. All right, not one speed, because what happens often enough is guys leave their feet and speed disappears. You got a shitty result.
What is the aiming point again for the back on inside zone, leverage, and shade side?
Yeah, backside hip. So it's always the backside hip. The first step is always a timing step. The second step always puts you on that landmark, the backside hip. And the whole conversation with running white side, good point, is that back, even though you can't change his footwork to get to the backside hip of the guard, all right, because that's where the double team is coming from. But what you can do is you can control his tempo to get on the backside hip of that backside guard, all right, but still keep the footwork aiming and chase the backside hip of the center, and just know where the double team is coming from, if that makes sense.
Do the running backs change their aiming points depending on the front and the scout?
Yeah, when they are dead ass wrong. Yep, they do. And I'm gonna be honest, they do, because they really good, I mean, they can draw every scheme. So now they're cheating. You know, yeah. So they do it and they're not supposed to. The answer is they get consequence for it. All right, but I have fun watching it because I'm watching my guys know what the hell is going on. They know where things are coming from. It's an easy fix. I promise you. You know, it can hurt you in the game though. As you saw, Keontae made a couple of over-anticipated runs, man. But he was right with his thought process, but just not patient with his action. All right, and that's going to be your battle.
What is your favorite concept to get the running back involved in the passing game?
You know, that's a great question. I think, obviously, if you run any type of empty concept and smash, I know that's day one, all right, but there's so many variations to smash, you know what I mean? And the one thing that backs do when they come out of the backfield, a lot of their catches are frontal catches. Think about it, right? You know, they're check downs, turning back to the quarterback, and they're catching the ball frontal. Very rarely do we, catch it laterally, even though we can on jerk routes and things like that, or over the head throws. A good large percentage of our catches are off of check downs where we are turning to the quarterback, back to the line of scrimmage, and they're frontal catches. So a hitch route or an option route in the curl area are great complements to what a back already does a whole lot of. And now you're just teaching them the feel of, zone versus man, right? And if you want them to settle versus zone in the curl area, just give them one area and put a cone there and say, hey, if things open up in this zone, here's your triangle. You're going to sit here every time. All right. If you're leveraged on this option route, just break away from the linebacker. Give them that option and keep it that simple. You're going to get a damn good route runner at some point. You know what I'm saying? But I love hitches. We're doing a lot. We do a lot of 5-man protection where it looks it's 6-man protection, and we get people thinking that they're blitzing man side, and then we free release the back and we put them on, wheel routes. We put them on jerk routes. And as they become more and more acclimated to recognizing zone coverage, reading triangles and things of that sort, man, we're going to continue to add to their play. But this is the right offense. If you're trying to incorporate more throw game with the running backs, you need to come talk to us. We are on another level with Coach Yurcich with that right now. It's good stuff.
We'll take a couple more, Coach Drayton. Do you ever teach cut, block, and pass protection?
Yes. And I would never allow a cut to happen in the A and B gaps. Just make that known. And here's the reason why. I never allow a cut in the A and B gap by a second level defender, because what happens is even if you execute a great cut at the line of scrimmage, all right, often enough with the quarterback's eyes downfield, all he does is feel that momentum still coming at his legs. The cut can be executed, right? But the quarterback does that. So you might as well just apply pressure to the quarterback. All right. But he doesn't feel that when there's a freaking high wall. And that feels like an offensive line, on every other play. Offensive lineman on every other play. So a high wall in the A and B gaps, that means stay up. And if I got an opportunity to cut, let's say a oversized buck backer, will linebacker that I know is a bull rusher, then I will allow the cut. All right. The problem nowadays that I'm saying, I don't see a lot of bull rushers anymore. The game is turning into a finesse game, and the rush is turning finesse. So we're not leaving our feet at all. To be quite honest with you, we're playing basketball in the short space and still trying to be with that, and that's a little tough. But that's kind of where we are with that.
Okay, last one. Sorry, guys. But what negatives do you grade your running backs on game by game?
One negative?
Yeah, what negatives? Like, when you grade out, like, what are the negatives that you dock them for?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understand the question. One more time.
It said, what negatives do you grade your running backs on?
Oh, what negatives? Yes.
Sorry, yes, sir.
Always ball security. Always ball security, and always I grade them on what I call culture plays. I want to know what their ball is not in their hand. when the ball is not in their hand, because, I mean, they sit in this prima donna position. And if you got a real one, you're going to give them the ball. And they're the laziest piece of doo-doo, when the ball is not in their hand a lot of times, right? So that is great leverage for me to elevate their game to greatness by saying, hey, yeah, I know you're averaging, 7 yards every time you touch the ball, but if you're not going to be a complete player, which means culturally play the game 4 to 6 seconds with or without the football, all right, then you won't have that opportunity to show that skill set. That elevates the skill set. So those are all the kind of things that you got to use to motivate these prima donnas that we're coaching, but definitely ball security, and I would make them team for your football team.
Awesome. Well, we're good, Coach Drayton. Thank you.
Hey, I love you guys. Be safe, okay? God bless.
Bye, guys.